We are here at Redbird State Recreation Area in Indiana, and I'm sure most of y'all have seen on Facebook that we got ridiculously trapped in mud yesterday. We kind of started this park thinking that it was going to be a really awesome park. It looked like it was really well maintained. There were a bunch of picnic tables. There was a really nice map that you could have several copies of for free. So it had a lot of really great positives going for it. And then we got off of the easy trails and onto the hard trails. And we were instantly, that was a really big bug. And we were instantly disappointed with this park. First of all, no signage.
Yeah, like the disappointment doesn't come from the park itself. I mean, it's beautiful out here. The trails they're more maintained than some of the parks we've been to.
Yeah, I mean, the trails are more maintained than they are at Bridgeport, so that's positive. But the bad part about this park is that the trails and the map don't match at all. So
yeah, there's so many offshoots for trails. You'll be going down a road and trying to figure out what turn you're supposed to make because there's 18 entrances into the forest and only 3 shown on a map.
Yep, and so you get turned around really easily and things can just go sideways really quick. So the difference between this video and most of the videos that we've done in the past is that we did not break up the 4 trails. Trails 3X and 2X, we did our best to get the best footage we could, but spent so much time doing recoveries that we weren't even able to get quality footage of the trails. As a matter of fact, during 2X, we ended up being on the trail so late at night that it got dark while we were on the trail, and our main focus was not to get footage of the trail, it was just to get safely off the trail. So we're titling this video Redbird State Recreation Area, and we're going to talk about all 3 of the trails that we completed. And then 3X we did not complete because of the difficulty level, but we can still tell y'all about that trail and show y'all some of the footage of that trail.
Hey guys, this is Mason from Nomad Off-Road. Now you might not have figured it out yet, but I am always in the background of these videos. I'm always the one that's helping getting us through these trails. As you can see in the video, we're doing a lot of starting and stopping, and it's a little bit frustrating to watch even when we're doing the editing. But the problem with that is that, as I said in the intro, the park is not labeled great. There are markings on some of the more important trails like 3X and 2X, but it's really easy to get lost. In fact, this part of the trail that we're doing right now is Jeep Badge of Honor Trail 5. Now 5 is marked very interestingly. It doesn't actually show this giant mud pit that we're pulling up on right now, but this is in fact the trail. And you kind of just get to choose your own adventure here. And it's kind of deceptive when you come in. It's challenging, but it's not too difficult. You can see Amanda here is trying to get proper traction to get between these trees. And it kind of looks like she's just railing the tree there, but there's actually this little drop off that we're trying to bump ourselves up. And she manages to do it pretty easily. But then we get back on the trail, and as you can see, we're just kind of winding around through the woods trying to figure out where the hell we're going. And that's mostly because we wanted to get footage of the entire trail, not just the major obstacles. So we're winding our way through here, trying to get the best footage for you guys, but we're getting lost. This is one of the first of many times we dump right back out to the entrance, then we circle back and go back in. Because again, we want to get the best footage. And originally our plan was we were going to cut this out and kind of give you guys better footage, but it turned out as we went and ran the rest of the park that it was imperative to show you guys how confusing this all was. But we gave up on it, and here you can see us trying to find our way to the second Badge of Honor Trail 2X, which is the most notorious one on the list. Of course, we're not on 2X here. We're actually taking a wrong turn down 5X, which is supposed to be another expert level trail in the park, which is really confusing because this is a dirt road with a little bit of mud on it. And again, it gets really deceptive because if this is a expert level trail, why is it so easy? Well, we got our answer real quick, that the park is not marked properly, and this is why. That giant mud pit we just turned back from was probably about 3 to 4 feet deep. And this is where it becomes a nightmare for real. This footage has gotten us a little bit famous on TikTok, and it's because we come off of that hill and dump directly into the mud. And in case you didn't notice, we're sitting on 37 by 13.5 Toyo Open Country MTs, 4-inch lift, and we have a 27.9 degree breakover angle, which doesn't help us as we're coming up over this hill. I'm winching Amanda out of this mud pit, and she immediately gets high centered at the top of this hill. And that's only the first of many. As you're going to see for the next couple minutes in excruciating detail, we had to winch ourselves up and down this trail 10 times off of 4 hills. This is not something that people should attempt in a stock Jeep. And really, the Jeep Badge of Honor list is supposed to be trails that you can go out and enjoy with a stock Wrangler, even if it is a Rubicon. But the reality is that a Rubicon JL 2-door has a worse breakover angle than we do, and it doesn't have as good of tires. There's a lot of people on the app that are saying that they completed this trail with a little bit of winching, and I have no doubt that if you winched yourself through this, you could do it. But we spent hours on this trail to get maybe 0.2 miles down it, and it starts getting dark real quick. If you're going to do this trail, if you really insist on doing it, then bring some friends. Make sure that you all have very capable rigs, because you're going to do a lot of body damage if you come through here in something that's bone stock. As you can see here, we're having to negotiate a lot of these hills and valleys. At this point in the trail, I'm trying to figure out which of 3 different paths is going to be the best one for us to get through. And unfortunately, we come to find out really quick that none of them are the ideal path. And we actually end up having to abandon one to go a different route. And even still, we're having to winch up over every single hill to do it. I should probably say at this point that we're no strangers to mud. Back home, Bridgeport Northwest Off-Road Park is kind of our home territory. We've been wheeling out there since the very first time we ever wheeled this Jeep. We deal with a lot of mud, and our most recent trip to Windrock really put that to the test. We know how to handle it, but this stuff up in Indiana, man, it is on another level. The Toyo Open Country MTs, they're not the best in mud, really thick soupy stuff, but they are pretty high quality tires. We're not running around on General Grabbers or anything. And the weight of the Jeep isn't that substantial. This is another part of this trail that I thought was really important to highlight. This particular hill doesn't look that bad from the video, but it was steep enough that I had serious trouble walking up it, to the point where I was on my hands and knees, literally clawing at the dirt to get myself up. And you could see that Amanda slipped down when she was coming up. This is really miserable terrain, and it is really dangerous. The fact that this is on the Jeep Badge of Honor kind of concerns me, because I'm afraid that some people are going to end up out here that really shouldn't be. This is technical on a level that I would expect people to come out in buggies to do it. Another issue that we ran into here, which is pretty obvious from the movement of the tree, is that there's not a lot of really great trees that you can winch to. I actually ended up having to climb down into a ditch to get to a tree that was significantly larger than these two that I grabbed onto. And, of course, being the guy that's actually doing the work there, I had to tell you, this is really, really brutal physically. If you guys have a spotter or trail mechanic like me, make sure to thank them if they ever have to go through some crap like this, because they really need that beer when they get back to camp. Unfortunately, we did manage to make it back off the trail as the sun was setting, and we were back on the road before it actually got dark. But upon further inspection in the morning, this is what we got to see. The Jeep is absolutely caked in mud, and we wound up spending probably 30 to 45 minutes after we went back the following day just trying to spray this stuff off. And it's been months now since we've been to Redbird, and we are still finding chunks of that slick, nasty, tar-like mud all over the Jeep. But here we are, right back at it again. We had to go back to that trail because we were in search of the license plate that got sucked clean off the Jeep in that thick, nasty mud. We never did find it. But onward and upward, we decided on day 2 we were going to get started with trail number 3, which is intermediate. And unfortunately, intermediate is not as simple or easy as the name would imply. It starts off easy enough. It's really just a muddy path through the woods. It's not too bad. We didn't really lose traction too much in most places, but we did find ourselves getting hung up in certain spots, and of course we get lost constantly because it is an absolute maze back there. There are so many entrances and exits, and here you see us coming back out onto the main road, which we weren't supposed to be there. But we dove right back in and tried to circle back through the path to see if we could get some decent footage for you guys, maybe find a half-decent obstacle or something that made for interesting footage. But, of course, the only thing that we wound up getting stuck on were some roots, which should be coming up here in just a second. Yep, there it is. Of course, by this point, we were both really frustrated with this park, and it kind of sucks because our original assessment of it was that it was pretty nice. I mean, the people that own Redbird clearly put a lot of effort into maintaining the park. It's got some really cool gazebos and a lot of benches and stuff that are just set out in the woods that you can go and have like a picnic or something, but clearly this park, it's a little too technical to just be bringing a regular vehicle through. If you had a more capable side-by-side or a buggy of some sort, you'd probably have a lot of fun out here. But I really wouldn't recommend that you bring a full-size Jeep in here, especially a 4-door. Now, we didn't have too much difficulty because of the length, but we did have some difficulty because, I mean, as you can see, the trees are right against the trail. My Ram Charger would never make it through this. So at this point, I should probably tell you guys that while we did attempt 3X, we were not able to make it very far into it. The trail itself is almost as nasty as 2X, but the bigger problem was that it's super narrow. So narrow that we didn't feel comfortable trying to take the Jeep down through it. Now, we do regret that. We wish that we had some kind of footage to show you guys, but unfortunately we don't have anything. However, we do hope that you guys will enjoy this video and that you'll enjoy the future content that we have ready for you. We've got a lot of stuff, including from our old Moab trip, from Windrock, and from a bunch of other stops along the way of our grand nomad adventure. So give us a like, a follow, and a subscribe on our various social media, all linked in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.